Alright. Now that we've gotten that, let's get the hell out of the desert and go and start figuring out the scroll. So once we collected all of our party members, we ended up getting the full Scroll of Iason. So now we can take a look at that and see what the idea is, because it's a little bit of a puzzle. The puzzle is a little bit vague as well, like everything else in this game, of course, with its mistranslated old-timey English. But the scroll is a set of directions, more or less. It's like a map for us that we have to decipher, and those monuments that we passed a while ago are ones that we're actually going to need to go into and fight. But we have to approach them in a certain order, and the order is dictated by the specifics in the scroll. So we might actually have enough to be able to go and get Trio's upgrade. That would probably be helpful. Maybe we have enough? It's a long way. Not really, it's not a super long way away. If we do all this healing and we're still above 60,000 guilders, I might say we should just go and do it. Oh yeah, we should just go and do it, because we're not going to get another chance like this. So we're going to skip up north here. Oh, great! These are the guys that sometimes drop those potions of resurrection I was mentioning. If we can get through this fight without dying a horrible death, of course. Because these guys are quite strong. But it's totally worth it to fight them, because they give you good experience, obviously, and they drop a really crucial item. We're going to have to search out some sea dragons later, again, anyways, to make sure that we have 3 of these before we go into the fight with Terrarin, in Terrarin's lair. These guys aren't too bad. Like most enemies, as long as they're not casting the flame spell, like spamming you with that over and over and over again, they're not unmanageable. They're not the most manageable, of course. They're some of the hardest enemies in the game, really. Like, their life bars are quite hefty. But we'll see if he drops the item that we're looking for here, because that would be awesome. 56 fangs. A resurrection potion. Use it to call friends from death. So, I mentioned last time, this is entirely misleading. It does not actually resurrect your party members when they've died, but rather it just is a full restore of health. So, the game trolls you again with its bad translations and stuff like that, but at least you know that you've got a chance, if your life bar is completely depleted, to restore and keep hacking away. So we're going to try right now to find, and I think we're awfully close to the swordsmith's village here. We do need to heal up soon, so we might actually need to do a little bit of grinding just to get some money to be able to buy some heals and things. This hamlet is the swordsmith's village. What sort of sword shall we fashion thee? Trio, please. 60,000 guilders. Alright, I guess. We await news of thy journey. Be not reckless. Alright, so if we have a look here, we can see that Trio, his axe, is now up to 100, just like everybody else. So everyone's all decked out. Essentially now we just need to go out and end the game. We gotta solve a couple of more puzzles and work through those, and we're done, so. Hast thou found the armor and shields hidden in the caverns yet? We got everything we need. Now there was a spot where there's some nice white lions, or great lions I should say, that we should probably try to find again. I think they're kind of near the life ant forest. Evil merchants will also do. I just want to be able to heal. 2,000 guilders should do us just fine. It's just to say that we're all healed up again before we try to cross that ocean. And of course we'll make money fighting the good fight down below as well. It's a little bit dangerous with this game, right? Because you get totally caught up in wanting to progress, which is all fine and good, but you can actually really get into a dangerous spot if you spend out all your money doing your upgrades and all that, and don't actually keep any to be able to heal, which is a treacherous thing. But thankfully there are some money-making enemies around here that you can just kill and, you know, harvest money from their insides, I guess. Who knows where monsters keep all this cash. Okay, good. We've got lots of money here, so let's go to this town. I think this is Minos or something. But we'll go to the healer here. We got enough to heal and maybe buy a set of herbs along the way. We'll see how it goes. And then we're going to head back to that southern continent across the deep water. Oh yeah, look at this. We're rolling in cash. We can actually stock up to a maximum of 24, which is wonderful. Okay, so we're broke again, but that's alright. So let's just save quickly. Alright, so we are going to head directly south for a long, not a long while, but a little while. Back to the place from whence we just came. Oh dear, a Ruogek. This guy looks like he's gonna be a hard time. But let's fight him anyways. Certainly not unmanageable. I love his little wings though. Oh, he's so cute. He's like the harder version of an Ogek, I guess. I like him better. Sorry, Ogek. Oh, maybe I don't like him so much. He's a flame spell user. He's terrible. But we can see where we get to. Oh, you don't like it when I take a lot of HP away from you, do ya? Well, I wouldn't like that either, so I don't blame you for trying to kill me. I get it. I understand. I wish that this guy would stop avoiding my attacks and would just die, so that I could continue on my quest here. That's what I get for traveling through the mountains, I suppose. Okay, so, if we take a look at the scroll, it says, "Hearken, come, Iason, for 8 days from Saria calls spring's sweetness. 8 days, face not dawn. Journey north 5 days, west 3 days to Dokia. View the sacred shrine. Ye, the gates below are for fools, hell's gates." Alright, so I likened this to some sort of directions and then fiddled around and read a few walkthroughs just briefly at some point, really a long time ago, and they're directions. So what it's saying is, for 8 days from Saria, it means go south, and 8 days is 8 spaces. So we'll go 8 spaces south from Saria. You might be wondering where Saria is, because the town that we just went into was called Tegea, but it's a lie, I guess. Like, I don't know why this town is also called Saria. Earlier in the game, we ran into a traveler or a merchant who told us that Saria is also the name of the town where Medi came from. And I tried these directions from her place, but they didn't work. So from there, I just happened to notice that there were monuments around this town, and then noticed as well that they happened to be 8 spaces south of this town. So tried it out, and it works. So let's try that. So we're going to go 8 spaces south from Saria. And then we're going to face not dawn, which means don't go east, we'll go west instead. Then we'll go north 5 spaces, and then west 3 spaces, and see what we can find. Okay, so we'll start here. We'll go 8 spaces south. So this is 1, 2, and I guess we got a fight on the way here. These guys will give us some money at least, so we can head back to town and heal after the fact. Yeah, we definitely need to heal. Poor Trio's nearly out of juice here. Okay, we'll start counting again in a couple of minutes here. But in the meantime, we've got to get ourselves some health before we go off into these. These are going to be caves that we have to traverse through and then fight a little boss at the end in order to get some keys. So we might as well go in prepared, wouldn't you say? Alright, so let's say we'll save. Okay, 8 spaces south. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we go in here, a voice can be heard from all around. He who hesitates is lost. Ha ha ha. Okay, so this is good. Now we need to go 8 spaces west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll click on this guy. A voice can be heard from all around. He who hesitates is lost. Ha ha ha. So this is good. They keep saying the right thing. If you go to these out of order, what happens is they say something different and then you have to start over. Alright, 5 spaces north. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A voice can be heard from all around. He who hesitates is lost. Ha ha ha. And then 3 spaces west. A Basales. Alright, so now we've got to fight this enemy. And he's actually not terribly difficult. So we can just fight him. Something weird happens after this fight. So after you fight this little dude, it'll say that the black monk has been injured or something like that, and then you lose your blacksmith all of a sudden. So that kind of sucks. And I don't know if this is a necessary portion of the game. Not entirely sure, but I feel like you would have to do this first before you can continue on to the next part. I don't know. I don't know what what purpose this serves, but we'll do it and then fret over the fact that we've lost our blacksmith. But shouldn't take us too long to reacquire 12,000 guilders to buy him back. You won! The Basales is dead. There's a small box. Open it. Fools, the seal of the Dark Lord waits not for thou here. And then it hurts everybody. Thou hast badly injured the black monk and his retainer. So that pretty well means your blacksmith is dead. So if we go into our inventory now, he's gone, which is unfortunate. So again, I have no idea if that's something that we require to do, but it sucks. And now you're kind of left scratching your head. You're like, well, where do you have to go next? Well, some of the travelers and merchants have been telling us that Iason is twice as big as us and we are half the size of him. So that is a super vague hint, meaning that we need to actually double some of the distances that are on the scroll. So don't mind me here while I try to escape this sandworm until we're back on regular ground here. So it sucks because we lost our blacksmith, but for the time being, we can keep kind of going through the motions until we've raised the money that we need, and then go buy him back. Because these guys, if we can run into a few of them, we're all set. Because we do have 24 heals at our disposal as well. But we'll keep going for a little while. Yeah, we've had the blacksmith for so long that it's entirely forgotten that our weapons actually degrade. So there you can see it. Every time we get hit and every time we hit something, we lose 1 point off of our situation there. off of our total number. So everything was at 100 before, if you recall. So let's heal everybody up here, and then we'll go and fight in some of these caves. We might break our weapons, but thankfully they don't disappear on us. They just stay broken until we can afford to get our Smithy back. But this really shouldn't stop us from continuing for the next little while. So we'll do that, and then we'll save our game. Okay, so the next part is that, again, we need to double the distances in our scroll. So we'll go, instead of 8 days south, we'll go 16 days south instead. So we'll start with that. So we know that that monument is 8. So this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And if we click on this space, we have 3 spells now, and the spell that we need to state is Come, Iason, so we can try that one. And now we're in a little cave, so we can do some exploring, and through here we'll wear down our weapons and armor, but hopefully make some money before we have to go back to town. And then we can get our hands back on our Smithy again. And in the meantime, too, we'll be leveling up our characters as well. Remember when eye attacks were really scary and I used to run away from them? Well, they feel super easy now, so that's beneficial. So we'll search this whole place. And we'll try to find the chest in it. And thankfully all of the cave enemies are still pretty easy. There are definitely some harder ones that pop up once in a while, but a lot of them are the ones we've been seeing from the very beginning. Gosh, this encounter rate. Oh hey Barbila, who looks like a warty frog with a bra on his head. How you doing? I'm glad that we're finally getting back into some enemies that require 4 hits so that all of our characters are going to get a little bit of leveling each time. Wow, I can't believe this. This encounter rate is just ridiculous. I think it was in a Final Fantasy game one time that there was something called the Hall of Kings, where every square leading up to this terrible boss had like an enemy in it that you had to get through. And that's what this kind of reminds me of sometimes, and I'm almost expecting like a square at the far end of a cavern to have like a terrible boss in it, and then there's just nothing. It's just like a bunch of really high encounter rate tiles that you have to walk by. My goodness, it's like an Orin party in here. Okay, let's see what's over here. If I can walk 2 steps without getting into a fight here, that would be great. Now, the only thing I find, like with the ending enemies in these games, or in these caves I should say, they're not bad. They're kind of like that Basales that we fought. A little bit. Oh, there's a chest. And the other thing that the game doesn't tell you is that as soon as you try to open the chest, there's a monster inside. Like Monster in a Box. You guys ever play... Did you ever play Final Fantasy where you get to like the end of certain caves and then there's a monster in a box waiting for you? Yeah, that happens here too, but they don't tell you. So we're gonna fight the Rock Hod now, and the boss music is on, but like, you can kind of get away with maybe not using all of the special items that you have. You might need to use some of them, but we definitely don't need to use all of them, and I'm inclined just to try, I guess now, the Stone of Protection, obviously, so we can try that. Good. So that's good news. We might as well use the nuts. I don't really want to use the stabs because they cost a lot of money, which we don't have a lot of right now. But the nuts we can definitely work through and then just hammer down with the rest of our physical attacks. You might call me cheap, and that might be correct, but it would take an awfully long time to regain, you know, 40,000 guilders to be able to buy 4 more stabs. And with the case of the nuts, we can just go punch some life ants and take their nuts away, and then hurl them at enemies. So, we'll try this out. We should be good. And then everybody's also gaining some experience simultaneously, which is also really nice. Huh. Okay, so we've used up all of our nuts. It didn't look like many people here got any increases at all to their experience bars. I wonder why that is. I guess we'll never know. Well, there we go. The foe had 56 fangs. HG gets Key of the Heaven from the corpse of the Rockhod. So we just picked it up out of its bloody, horrible, desecrated body, and now we have the Key of the Heaven, or the Key of Heaven. There's 3 keys that we need to get in total, and that's just the first one. So let's heal up here before we even budge a step. Poor Medi took a real big beating in this one, eh? Alright, so we're not able to go that way. And I guess we can go down this way and see what is over here on the way out, of course. I'm pretty sure that this place is just a big circle. But who knows for sure? It's always good to explore a little bit. After all, we are playing an RPG, so it's kind of mandatory. But yeah, now we're all out of life ant nuts, so when I get out of this cave, I'm going to take a little walk and go get some more of those and then come back over here and then go after the second key. So we've still got 2 more to get. I don't believe that there's anything else in this cave, but it's always good to check, just in case. Okay. I think we're just gonna end up running up on the other side of the squares where the chest is. If we go down this way. But at the same time, we're getting some really much needed experience before we go into these final battles of the game. Yeah, I find it really interesting how anybody ever figured this game out the first time they ever played it with these vague translations. Like, the scroll is by no means black and white. Yeah, see, we're just on the other side of where that chest was, so we can just head back out now. Go back the way that we came down in the first place. But yeah, it's just so vague, like, to think, oh yeah, Iason is twice as tall as you. Like, who would have thought to go 2 times more spaces? It's almost like Zelda 2 vagueness, where you've got to kind of check out every square on the map to find out where you need to go next. So, I don't know how people would have figured that out back in the day. Probably would have played this game for 3 years and been like, how the hell do I finish this? What do I do next? And thankfully today we have the internet at our disposal, so not so bad. I really tried not to read a lot about the game while I was playing through it and tried to figure stuff out on my own, but that was something that just stumped me to no end, so I had to check that out because I was stuck. At least now I know. And I find playing the game through before doing a Let's Play is a good thing. I have nothing against blind Let's Plays, of course, but myself personally, I'd rather have something to talk about, something meaningful that I know for sure. So, I hope that you guys find these helpful. Anyways, if you're planning on playing the game yourself, you can have some tips. Or if you never plan on playing the game, hopefully you enjoy the level of depth that I go into here. Because I certainly enjoy playing games, even twice in a row. Like, I'm quite happy to play games twice in a row. I feel like after the first time through I'm kind of an expert, and then if I play it again right after, I have lots of really good positive things to be able to contribute. Okay, so we got the key of heaven, so let's exit this place. Alright, so we were 16 spaces south, and we're going to rush out of these mountains here. And we don't have a lot of cash to heal up, but we can at least heal up a couple of our characters.